Hello everyone. This video has recently become a trending topic on the internet. In the video, a US officer talks about alien pilot corpses found in a crashed UFO, which the government has been hiding from the public. All these discussions took place during the congressional sessions of the US House of Representatives on July 26. However, those who listen to the speech might not be very surprised because we have all become accustomed to similar fake news. In fact, everything started with the media reporting strange flying objects in the sky. Before we delve into the video, I'd like to express that your support is invaluable to us. By subscribing to our channel for free, you can stay updated on our latest videos and also contribute to our cause. Enjoy the content. If you have subscribed, let's get back to the video. During those times, many people took these reports seriously and became alarmed. Moreover, in January of this year, the Pentagon declassified files revealing 247 unidentified aerial phenomena incidents over U.S. airspace. In February, President Joe Biden announced the formation of an interagency team to investigate UFOs. After years of concealing data related to extraterrestrial encounters, officials suddenly laid all their cards on the table. This raises the question, why did the Pentagon disclose the truth about UFOs, and what is their intention? In June 2023, the Las Vegas police received a strange call. The person on the phone claimed that a spaceship had crashed in their backyard.
Haziran 2023'te Las Vegas polisi tuhaf bir çağrı aldı. Telefondaki kişi arka bahçesi
He later mentioned running to the window and seeing that the accident site appeared unnaturally dark and blurry, as if camouflaged. Nevertheless, he felt there were others around. Just then, he started hearing footsteps on the roof. The terrified man was convinced he saw extraterrestrial beings on top of the house, humanoid creatures about 2 meters tall with grayish-green skin and massive luminous eyes. Initially, the 911 operator didn't believe the story and, consequently, did not take the man seriously. However, it wasn't long before other officers realized they were talking to people who had witnessed a bright object falling from the sky. Patrol teams were subsequently dispatched to the scene. On the other hand, some cameras had captured the moment of impact of the bright object, and it definitely did not resemble lightning or a shooting star. In these images, you can see the backyard of the house where the circular traces left by a large object on the ground are visible. Additionally, the homeowner reported that in the following days, an official government vehicle passed slowly in front of the house several times. In fact, intelligence agencies have been investigating such incidents since 1966. At that time, around 40 residents of Michigan, including approximately 10 police officers, witnessed something unusual in the sky, and everyone was convinced it was an alien craft. Later, President Gerald Ford held a congressional hearing on UFOs, and from that date onwards, all information about aliens was kept classified. Even those who claimed to see such things were labeled as crazy. However, this silent strategy didn't work forever. For instance, when people started talking about Area 51, everything changed. This highly secretive base became known through a former employee, namely Bob Lazar. Lazar, assigned to examine a flying craft, claimed to have discovered a chemical element not found on our planet that served as fuel for the ship. According to him, this element allowed the ship to manipulate and distort the surrounding field. However, after Lazar's public statements, the management of Area 51 claimed they had no idea who he was and had never worked with him. To this day, the true identity of Lazar remains uncertain. We don't know if he is an honest person fighting against the system or a fame-seeking charlatan. Nevertheless, thanks to him, the UFO topic gained immense popularity, infiltrating science fiction films, research, and even conspiracy theories. On the other hand, it was noticed that the house in the Las Vegas incident I mentioned earlier is quite close to Area 51. So, The people in the government vehicle passing in front of the house were likely representatives of the Anomaly Resolution Office, responsible for investigating cases related to extraterrestrial activity within the U.S. Department of Defense. The office's manager, Sean Kirkpatrick, stated that he receives about 100 similar incident reports every month in recent years. However, only 2% to 5% of these reports are genuinely unexplainable. Furthermore, officials refraining from specifying this percentage indicates that the long-preserved secret veil is slowly being lifted. In 2004, the Pentagon prepared a report compiling statements of military aviators encountering mysterious objects. However, this report remained classified until 2021. According to this document, out of 144 unidentified objects, all except one were in an unexplainable state. Now, you might think that the government openly acknowledged the existence of extraterrestrial life at this point. However, the situation is not quite like that. Officials continue to make ambiguous statements. Sean Kirkpatrick still claims that the organization has found no evidence of extraterrestrial activity. So, what does this mean? I mean, what could be the reason for officials giving small clues instead of making a clear statement? Or is this done to further confuse us? For example, the derivation of the term UAP, which essentially means unidentified anomalous phenomena and is essentially the same as UFO, is another possibility. It could be to prevent the media from directly labeling any strange object in the sky as a spacecraft. In other words, the government may aim to reduce the coverage of extraterrestrial news worldwide and label incidents as abnormalities. Of course, it can't be said that they have been successful in this regard. In fact, the government seems ready to accept and discuss taboo topics for years, but it's still hard to understand why they suddenly find it necessary. Perhaps they have found a way to benefit from it. In 2023, the famous podcast host Jeremy Korb claimed to have received a call from an unknown number. Answering the phone, Korb listened carefully to the person on the other end. The caller introduced himself as someone in a high-ranking military position, 2 levels above. Jeremy was known for hosting a series called Weapon with another podcast host, George Knepp, where they discussed various unexplained events. Therefore, the caller wanted to provide information about an unknown interesting event. He mentioned a triangular UFO seen in the United States. After describing a few small details, the man suddenly hung up. The incident he mentioned had occurred in April 2021. The footage was captured in 29 Palms, California. Unidentified vehicles just above the military base were moving in the sky, forming a triangle, and the whole process took about 10 minutes. Moreover, several different people managed to record this incident from different angles. Jeremy and George, analyzing the footage, concluded that these were UFOs. However, what surprised podcasters the most was the lack of media coverage of this event for 2 years. Actually, the most mysterious aspect of this story and other similar cases is precisely the frequent appearance of unidentified flying objects over American military bases. And this man was not an ordinary American who saw a flying saucer in his backyard. David was a former military officer who had served in a high-ranking position at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Reconnaissance Office. This task force was specifically created to investigate UFO cases. Moreover, the military officer we are talking about testified publicly in the Rush House of Representatives about extraterrestrials. After serving 14 years in the Air Force, David claimed that government officials had extraterrestrial ships, and all of this was being concealed. But according to him, the most important detail was Sago's work on a secret project to convert the remains of alien vehicles into weapons. In fact, if you look, most of the alleged alien spacecraft oddly resemble imaginary UFOs. For example, this strange object captured by the United States Navy in 2004 was potentially covered with a flawless shell. That is, it had no windows or doors and resembled a tic-tac in shape. Other UFOs seen by people suddenly moved away instead of disappearing. The orbit indicated the object's equipage with some unique extraterrestrial technologies, according to most experts. Although he mentioned that this vehicle could have been designed on Earth, Dave Gruss and his colleagues at the trial claimed the opposite. According to them, the flying Tic Tac suddenly disappeared, and then in 2023, passengers on a flight from Sacramento to San Diego claimed to have seen an unidentified object in the air. According to them, the object resembled a white cylinder with no wings, windows, or any characteristic features. Luckily, one of the passengers managed to shoot a short video, and the vehicle in the images looked almost identical to the Tic Tac detected by sailors. The claim that these objects are indeed UFOs was put forward by former officer David Gruss. David claims that he had his hands on the subject before 2023 and evaluated various possibilities for a while. Also, Gruss acknowledges that the flying Tic Tac may have been created on Earth, but still, he states that the vehicle represents space technology used by the US government in the arms race. According to David, the government has been running a long-term disinformation campaign to hide any evidence of the existence of UFOs. However, recently, it seems that this has changed for some reasons. Perhaps US officials have decided to reveal the truth, but of course, they need to do it in a way that benefits them. This global object seen off the coast of San Diego was captured by the US Navy ship Omaha on July 15, 2019. The vehicle was hovering in the air and then suddenly dispersed into the ocean. The video was declassified on May 14, 2021, and perhaps the reason for this was the incident somehow coming into the hands of podcast host Jeremy Korb. Later, the Pentagon confirmed the authenticity of the footage. The then US President Donald Trump had requested the National Intelligence Director and the Defense Secretary to report everything they knew about UFOs. Former National Intelligence Director John Redcliffe mentioned that there were many more cases than the public knew. He also added that American warships and satellites observed objects moving in ways that no modern technology could. In other words, what Bob Lazar once said and later former officer David Grush confirmed has been verified. Additionally, Redcliffe described alien ships as devices capable of distorting time and space. But David was not the only US military personnel who decided to expose the government. This process was continued by retired FBI agent John D'Souza. D'Souza, who specialized in investigating paranormal events during his 25-year career, decided to expose the secret UFO data he collected after his resignation. However, he did not hand over all the materials to the media. He chose a rather interesting approach. He leaked the information he had to the creators of the popular TV series, The X-Files. Actually, this production entertains the audience with events that are fiction. So, no one believed that what was told was true, but the last interview talking about secret government documents attracted everyone's attention. Of course, the FBI was also interested in the subject. Representatives even contacted the channel executives to find out which secret stories were used in the series. John D'Souza thought that this way he would reveal all the truths about extraterrestrial visits that the Pentagon hid from people. According to him, the government used these strange flying devices for commercial and military purposes. Still, as we often mention, it is quite difficult to be sure about what the exact truth is. So, what if all this is true, and an alien invasion happens soon? After all, in recent years, everything that hasn't happened to us has happened. John D'Souza claims that the government is trying to keep the population under control with such fear. In such an alien invasion scenario, citizens will demand protection, and that's when authorities will activate the Space Force they have been developing for years. Meanwhile, Congress already has such a project, an army called Space Force, consisting of 20,000 soldiers that will be integrated into the Air Force Ministry. Take a look at this composite photo taken with telescopes in Chile on October 19, 2017. The small dot in the middle of the image may not look very impressive, but the blurry image could be more important than previous UFO videos. We can take a closer look at what this point really is through simulations. Although it seems like an ordinary asteroid at first glance, this formation named Oumuamua is extremely important. This reddish rock, with a length of 400 meters, exhibits unusual behavior for celestial bodies of its kind. Firstly, it should be noted that the object entered our solar system at a record speed of 95,000 kilometers per hour. Asteroids usually move at only a few kilometers per hour. Secondly, this object did not show any signs of being a comet as it approached the Sun. And finally, its reddish tone indicated iron content in its composition. In other words, Oumuamua does not resemble any asteroid observed in our solar system before. Moreover, the object reflects sunlight 10 times more efficiently than other asteroids or comets. Furthermore, some researchers assume that it could be an intentionally designed artificial spacecraft using light reflection to increase its speed. You might wonder if this means that someone or something is controlling the object's speed. So, who could have created such a device? Researchers from Harvard University suggested that Oumuamua could be a probe deliberately sent near Earth by an extraterrestrial civilization. Moreover, Harvard professor Loeb claimed to have discovered pieces of extraterrestrial technology in an object previously considered a meteorite. This object had fallen into the waters of Papua New Guinea in 2014. Researchers under Loeb's guidance calculated the places the meteorite passed while falling and closely examined them. As a result, they found 50 strange small balls. These were perfect spheres composed of 184% iron, silicon, 4% magnesium, titanium, and other rare elements. According to Loeb, these objects were stronger than those previously catalogued and investigated by NASA. The professor claims that these are definitely artificial objects. What do you think about this image? You can share your thoughts in the comments section.